Okay, we were on this one. What are some strategy challenges you have faced so far, and could you give some example?
Okay, so I will take this answer into two parts. One is around strategic challenges, what we face with our clients, and the second part is strategic challenges which are faced with our own internal teams and ourselves while delivering to the needs of the clients.
Anirban, it got stuck in between again.
Okay, once again. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will take this answer into two parts. The strategic challenges could come from two parts. One is what are the strategic challenges which you face while delivering to a client and interacting with a client. And the second part is around the strategic challenges in terms of managing a team or managing yourself. So, on the first part, on the challenges around the client, one is around understanding and pitching a story which could be easily understood in the client's language is one of the biggest strategic challenge which we face, not only from a problems definition perspective, but strategy formulation to say any implementation which could even lead to a digital intervention, right? So strategy challenges is one is to convey what we want to say in simple easy words with a lot of words around digital being throwing around in the market, right? So how do we really put across the problem in easy simple steps is one challenge. The second challenge is around clients uh, where they where we have to understand their maturity level before we project and propose a solution. So it's very difficult because hard to know because you are an outsider and you have to get the client data in order to really understand where are they in the maturity level, maturity profiling, and thereby you can uh, give a proposed solution which could uh, match their needs. And that's where a lot of discordant things happen when the RFP process goes on because a lot of exchanges happens and we don't know the client doesn't know us, and we have a lot of back and forth shuttling game going on. So that's a very big strategic challenge. How do we really manage the expectation and deliver the proposals at that level? The third part and the most
Hello.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry, again, there was this power shutdown. Power.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we can continue that same question again.
Yeah, don't retake it. You can continue. I'll just merge that.
Okay, fine. So again, I'll start from because I'll have a train of thought. So I'll just
Okay,
start.
yeah.
So to answer this question, the key strategic challenges, I would take it into two parts. One is the strategic challenges in terms of interacting or working or even delivering a client. Uh,
Uneven, your camera got fluctuated in between.
Sorry, are you able to see now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, restart.
Okay. So I will answer this question in two parts. One is the strategic challenge in terms of working with a client to reach a end goal, and other part of the strategic challenge is around working with a team and yourself, managing yourself, is the other part of the strategic challenge. The first part of the strategic challenge, which is around working with a client, one is around painting and pitching the right story in the words of the client, in the words which he can understand, and not throwing jargons around, and words which he can appreciate, is something which is a big strategic challenge. And this is a kind of a challenge which happens due to because of both parties not knowing each other, and we see a lot of kind of shuttling between knowing the client versus knowing getting ourselves known to the client, and which is the typical RFP process where we try to understand the client better in order to propose the right solution. If you don't understand the client better, we might land up solving the problem, but we might be solving up the problem for the wrong person, or solving the wrong problem for the right person, right? So it may also happen that we need to understand the stakeholders and the client environment better. So that's one big strategic challenge which the salespeople typically face. The other part of the strategic challenge is where it is more about the solution architects or the solution oriented people who have to encounter this. And I'm not saying sales are left out, but they also have to think about how uh, how mature is the client, what is the maturity level of the client in their sector. Are there are they nimble, are they fast, are they first in the market, or are they just I would say want to be big? Where are they? Are they classical approach? Are they adaptive? Are they visionary? Where are they exactly? What is the type of requirement? Are they just looking at a point solution? Are they looking at differentiated solutions? So understanding the maturity takes a lot of time, and it requires data, and that's where we struggle, right? And that is where a big strategic challenge, which has to be done in collaboration with the client, to understand whether he just wants to analyze the situation, whether he wants a recommendation, whether he wants to implement something, or whether he just wants to take a dipstick view around that. So it's very critical to understand that strategic challenge, or to uncover his expectations around these. That's the part on this strategy part to manage a client. The last but not the least is around the expectations management, around different levels or tiers of client, which could right from go away from uh, a manager to a business sponsor to a executive member to a CEO to a board member, right? So you could have different levels of people who can have different perspective of the same problem statement, and we need to really appreciate and understand in order to propose or work on the right direction. Here it becomes the question, and the big word is alignment. We talk about organizational alignment. Here we are talking about consultant and a client alignment, and which is a key to success of any engagement, be it a digital transformation, be it a business transformation, or be it a simple problem solving exercise. These are some of the strategic challenges which we can solve. A, with, as you said earlier, as I said, that one is using the where to play attitude, is about problem solving, critical thinking, wearing the hat of a client, bringing in your soft skills, bringing in your appreciation about cultures and people, is very handy. And this is what is respected by the client part. And when the client is buying a product or a process or a service, they're looking at all these things in you to really make the decision. And you are making their job, your job is to make their uh, challenge simpler and easier for them to understand and comprehend. The other part of the story is more internal in nature, where we are dealing with teams and, biggest thing, dealing with ourselves. Should we multitask? Should we single task? Should we work as a digital guy, or should we work as a digital, I would say, consultant, independent consultant? Should we work uh, with a cross-functional team? Should we manage them through the agile way, or should we manage it on a hybrid way, which is a mix of an agile and a hybrid, based on how the client is mature? So these are some of the challenges in terms of setting up, or laying the foundation of a team, laying the ways of you communicate, laying your role clarity with your team. That's one of the very big strategic challenge, where you have to do it, and the tools are many. You could use different kind of collaboration tools, to project management tools, to even simple an Excel, which gives you an kind of a resource planning or account planning kind of thing, right? The other part of the strategic challenge is around the teams, is around understanding and creating uh, a vision, or a motivation for your team. I would not say vision, of course, because vision is a very long term thing, but of course, motivation is the right word. Motivation and a path where everybody gets more feedback than what they work. That's how I go. You need to be extremely communicative, giving more feedback to your team, in order to avoid any kind of strategic challenges related to, uh, say, miscommunication, office politics, related to something around team structuring, uh, kind of favoritism, and all sorts of other kind of people mechanics and people items. uh, the way to manage is one, is that you set clear, measurable goals. When I say measurable, it could be as simple as that you can give a code and to a person, and then say that you have to turn it around in 2 days, and this code should go through minimum of 1 or 2 reviews. So see, I have made that task more quantifiable by saying that they'll go through only 2 reviews, and that is the mark of a quality product which you're making, right? Similarly, you can even come up with a softer goal, saying that you may want to mentor someone, and I will be tracking you on your mentorship, based on a simple question that I'll ask your mentee, that would he recommend you to someone else? As simple as that, right? So these are some of the ways you can handle a strategic challenge related to the team structuring and the team bonding, and the typical way they say, right? Forming, norming, storming, and performing. So to reach that performing stage, you will have to go through this cycle. The last but not the least is the strategic challenge across dealing with yourself, which comes more to the ethics and your social and emotional intelligence. How you deal with your personal life versus a professional life. How do we really live a life of a consultant, but still not be married to your solutions, still not be married to only work? You have a complete balance around your work, your life, your play, your parties. So that's again a big strategic challenge which you have to really work across when you are kind of a digital transformation consultant. So overall, strategic challenges can go in multi-directional, but I see mostly it's around client, the teams, and yourself.
All right. Now we have KPI track. That is, how is an associate evaluated given that the outcome of engagement will take months to see fruit?
Now, the outcome of an engagement, this you are talking from a perspective of a long-term transformation assignment versus a short-term one. I and the answer would be that long-term assignments are something which is a big challenge, where you have to keep your teams focused, and being an associate in a team, it's all about one. These are the millennials, so they have very less attention span, and second thing, they want to cling on to something which is appreciative. Third is that they want constant feedback coming to them, so that they can really improve. They may need to know best they can do work, or they can call that a smart work. So these are some of the inputs which could help out. So in terms of KPIs, the associates could be looked into from multiple angles. One is the hygiene part. Typically, how is your time management? How are you delivering on your projects? How has been your interaction with your co-workers? Are you receptive enough? Are you sharing knowledge? Are you building practice information, sharing that? So these are some hygiene things which could be tracked using some metrics. There are some other metrics which are related to management of the work they are doing, which could be hard metrics. I would say the management of the cycle of, say, maybe in a year of time transformation, you are how you are delivering on quality, how you are delivering on, say, uh, productivity of yourself and your team, and how are you delivering on, say, something around as reliability. Are you reliable to the team? Are you creating information which could be used later on by someone else, right? So some of these KPIs could be related to hard skills, which could be defined by typically the time spent, or how much of quality contributions you have done in your daily stand-up meetings. Are you the most proactive person who is working towards motivating others? Are you taking the share and load of others? So if it's a long running project, you typically tend to have a lot of time, which is, once you are done with the time, you are you helping your co-workers, right? So these are some of these things which are looked up from a, I would not say leadership perspective, but from more of a team working perspective. So there could be a teamwork metrics, and these are the places where associate could excel in their. Uh,
Anirban, I'm sorry, your video I got. You can resume the answer. It's
okay,
okay.
so then in that way, there could be hard metrics which are related to KPIs related to time, quality of work, quality of your communication, the quality of outcomes, and your contribution to your meetings and your daily stand-up meetings and all. So those are hard inputs, hard KPIs which could be drawn in. And the other ones are more related to softer ones, which is around how collaborative you are, how agile you are, how cooperative you are, how sharing information you are, how are you developing your own competencies, right? Are you doing required number of trainings and all? So those are some of the ways which KPIs could be used by an analyst to manage his progress in a long term project.
Okay. Now we have, how does one measure the performance of the engagement manager?
Okay, so engagement manager is a little stepping stone, or I would say he's more of a facilitator between the actual I would say the actual analyst community and the partner community. So I would take them as a more of a sandwich. So they are, I would say, the uh, meat, or I would say the actual the sandwich layer, or the veggie layer, right? The top layer is the partner layer, and the below layer is the analyst layer, right? And if I talk about managers, managers are more they are more hated than they are more liked. One, because they themselves are asked to do a lot of multitasking. However, we learn in our all the self-help books that we always should be single tasking. Typically, at a partner level, when you go, you can choose and decide what you want to do. At an analyst level, you don't have an authority to choose or decide. You take whatever is given and do your best of your ability. What happens at a manager level is engaged manager level. He has to balance between the fire and the water, or between the ice and the I would say the uh, the hot magma or something like that. So he has to play a more of a treadmill kind of thing. He has to maintain the speed of the project. He has to inform his superiors. He has to work with his workers, and thereby he has to maintain a balance. To measure such a person's abilities would be around, again, how is his quality of interactions with his clients. Is it he will have more client led and project delivery led milestones and KPIs around that. So one would be that how much he is building trust with the client, how much he is building inroads in the client, how much of repeat business he is building in, all those things. So that's one part of the story which is more to do with his own competencies of being more softer and more qualified and more not knowledgeable to account uh, to manage the account. One is that. The other part of the story is around delivery, which is the typical way of delivering a project. However, the metrics might be different. Here, the metrics are around agile. How much of downward feedback are you giving to your consultants? What has been the impact of your uh, time given to mentor a person? How have you how important are you when the team is going through a crisis? How have you handled uh, a kind of a project situation where you were starved of resources? Now, there could be, these are like softer questions, but these could have a harder implication on how, one, he's multitasking. Second, how much of people management skills he has got. Third, how much of in-depth knowledge and industry knowledge he has to get the respect from his team. Fourth, how much of his team trusts him in terms of delivering the project on time with the same quality and in scope, right? And last but not the least, what is his senior management uh, thinking about entrusting more work with him? Is he capable of taking on more loads? He is doing one project, can he take on multiple projects? If he's doing multiple projects, can he take the in charge of a bigger team? If he's doing a bigger team, can he take charge of a unit? If he's taking managing the cost of a unit, can he manage the P&L of a unit? So these are the kind of gradations which could happen at an engagement manager level, and it's a big topic. Engagement manager is something like that, and once you become a partner, that's a different story.
All right. Now, what in your mind are the top 4 5 attributes a consultant should demonstrate at work?
uh, One, I had already taken up this question, and I have talked about it, about digital consultants qualifications. Now I'll talk in general what a consultant needs, and this is where I say that critical thinking, and it was I think done some research around that recently by some I think HR agency, which came up with saying that critical thinking is the number one uh, kind of a skill which people look out for. They're not looking for degrees. They're not looking for your, uh, I would say, the 10 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 years of qualification and your experience around that. But they are more looking towards how critical thinking can you wear? How can you solve an ambiguous problem? How much of problem solving attitude you bring to a problem, which means that, are you stressed, are you at relax, are you vulnerable to a problem, so that you don't feel overwhelmed by a problem, right? So these are problem solving, one area where which is one of the traits of a consultant. So how how hungry are you to solve a problem, and how much of hunger persists in the long run is a question. The second part of the way of the traits of a consultant would be looking at, which is coming more important right now, is the softer part. Are you able to manage upwards? Are you able to manage downwards in your team? Are you able to generate enough ideas which could be unique, or which could be researched, or which could be even coming out based on talking to people, right? You get to learn a lot from people. How much of idea generation factory are you? It need not be innovative, it could be incremental. Who says that? Now, this is another trait which is being looked on. One is problem solving, the second is idea generation trait of a consultant, and how he's managing these ideas, or pushing through his ideas, or making his ideas into success by selling it to downwards, which means their subordinates and their teams, and upwards, which could mean selling it to their seniors in order to win board business, right? So this is one trait. And the last but not the least trait is appreciation around business, the business acumen. Are you sound in whatever you are doing? It could be technology, it could be finance, it could be IT, it could be strategy. When you are saying something, you are adapted to this kind of knowledge sphere. What is this sphere? what is your circle of influence in your areas of expertise? Is the circle of areas of experience only related to your gained experience, educational experience, or have you built upon it? So these are some of the traits which are looked out in a consultant. And overall, as I said, a person going forward, the social and emotional intelligence will become a key deciding factor of how a consultant grows in an organization.
Okay. Now we have skills you need. So here first question is, how do you deal with ambiguity at work?
Okay, so ambiguity could be taken as a two-pronged sword. It is the yin and the yang, as the Chinese say, right? So here, ambiguity to me, one could be mean that ambiguity coming because of the human part, or I would say the head part, uh, the head or the human part. The other part, ambiguity coming because of the hand part, the head and the hand. What do you mean that? So in the head part, when I say ambiguity, it means people may have misconceptions, people may have misjudgments, people may have perceptions which may be differing, and how do you are you aligning that? So creating a kind of a common platform, a common understanding through your communication using the right channel is where you solving ambiguity on the head part. On the hand side, it's about how you do things, uh, execute things, how you uh, manage your people, your process, and your technology, right from a personal space to professional world. And now with this kind of a new norm where personal and professional are getting intermixed, how do we really manage? Especially the most important thing is your time. How efficiently you are managing your time. Yeah, are you integrate have that integrity to spend your work time separate from your maybe home time? How you are managing that balancing, because consultant life is very critical that they are running from one project to another project, right? So that's very very important thing where they're managing ambiguity. The last but not the least, ambiguity is in your head, the ambiguity about the information which you're getting. So there's a lot of information overload happening across the internet, right? So less is better, we always say, but how much less is better is what we need to decide, correct? So that's very important for us to really think through, and that's where we will be able to solve our ambiguous problem. One is head, another is hand, and the last but not the least is what we are actually gaining from the outside world in our head, what we are gaining. So we should be filtering the ones which are required, and really be able to I would say analyze essential from non-essential. That's the key thing.
Okay. The last question is, how is managing ambiguity at an essential skill for career progression?
Okay, so ambiguity management, and people already know a lot of things around being vulnerable, how much of vulnerable you are in this volatile world is a kind of a trait which comes with experience. It doesn't come as a kind of hereditary. It could be a genetic thing, but again, it mostly comes with experience. And once you have worked that sector, you know that way. So managing ambiguity, as in you progress up the ladder, is a key thing. One is managing ambiguity of yourself, the most important thing. If you are clear in your head, you are able to clarify things to other people. If you are not clear in your mind, you are ambiguous to everyone. Whatever you say is ambiguous. And like a race driver says, right? A famous race driver says, Andretti says that if you are going at high speed, and maybe you are going at high speed, but you still don't have any control, is something, then you are progressing. You need to be going at high speed, and if you are not in control, then you think that there is something, you are progressing. But if you're going at high speed and you have everything under your control, then there's nothing ambiguous. You know everything. You know the tires, you know the speed, you know the levers, and you know the gears, right? So that's where comes the ambiguity, that the unknown part, how comfortable are you with the ambiguous part, is very very important as you grow up. As you become a leader, You gain one from your experience. Second is from others, listening to others. So you are making a lot of decisions from others. So the ambiguous things become more clear. You have to listen to two minds. One is your own mind. The second one is from others, and then you have to filter out what is the right and what is the wrong, and that will create a kind of a more clearer situation from an ambiguous situation. So this is where going forward, you will be more dependent on others than yourself. The in initial ages of associate and a manager level, you are dependent more on your understanding and learning. The more you become towards the higher levels of echelons of partner or national leader or someone else, thereby you need to clear your ambiguous situation by listening, by active listening, by paraphrasing, by understanding others. And when I say understanding, it's all about understanding the emotional quotient, listening and reading between the lines what is not said, and that is where ambiguity can be solved. Yeah.
All right. So we are done with the session. It was a long and very insightful, very knowledgeable session. And is there anything which we have missed out and you want to add some points? So we
uh, yeah. So again, basically what I wanted to summarize was that uh, as the world advances and we are more in a volatile and a new norm world, what we need to ensure as a consultant is two parts. One is we need to develop on a softer social and emotional quotient, which is the need of the hour, and this can be developed doing simple things at home and learning, and you can take your learnings from your personal space, from your personal surroundings to professional world. So now this world has become a lot of interplay between the personal and the professional world. So that's one. The second part of the digital consultancy and digital consultant field is that it doesn't matter what background you come from. Digital is an encompassing, it is looking at reimagining business in order to deliver and operate uh, at a higher level and give a higher value, perceived value, or the real value to a client in a changed world. So you need to see there are a lot of words: change, digital, perceived world, value. You see a lot of interplay. So you need not, and you didn't find a technology word coming in between digital, right? Technology is just the backbone. It's just the tool kit which will help you. And AI and ML is a toolkit which will help you to leapfrog into that kind of a change environment. But what is going to really make the change is your people, is your foresight, is your architecture knowledge, is your strategic thinking, is your problem solving. So these are some of the traits which could help you to really succeed in your career. And that's it, what I'd like to say.
okay. And one last thing I would ask, like, could you give some reviews on Antwalk, the platform we have?
Okay, the platform actually I have not been, and I have not explored much. I looked into one or two videos and found that one was that the good part is that it's a very easy one. It's like you one click activity, and you can just, even if you don't register, you can do and look at it. That's one. That's a good feature right now. What is not coming out strongly there is that the persons, I would say the people who is going to talk, the talk they're going to give. So there should be some kind of a snippet. People, even without clicking on the video, they should know a snippet around who the person is and what is the person's agenda of the talk. It's something like having a mini summary below each video, similar to a Quora, one or two lines around it.